Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a rank 1 in the world team by Elite with the Blastoise. This is a Pokemon where I said when we had the Community Day Classic for it that people should get one for the Ultra League, and some were confused because it's not really that high ranked, but this Pokemon is really cool. It's a very bulky water Pokemon with the move Hydro Cannon as well as Ice Beam as coverage. And we're going to see here, first game actually, a kind of mirror match, which is kind of funny. I didn't really expect to see anybody using a similar team, but that's kind of funny to see as well, like the same lead as well as the same swap here of the Blastoise. So yeah, we're going to have here a team that is going to be around the Blastoise. Well, ours is here fully XL level, I think, actually level 50 I think, but the opponent here is here on the top right, does not have all XL candies yet. They definitely didn't play the Community Day, it seems like, but we're going to be able to now farm them all the way down here, so you can still survive that. They go into the Pidgeot, they are forced to a throw here, which is totally okay for me. And if they have the Obstagoon in the back, we're going to be fine. Also, for the Obstagoon, you see it already, we are going to run the Obstruct variant. At least that's the name of the Pokemon that, of the Obstagoon of the player that hit rank 1 in the world with this team. So I guess the opponent, like the player, is running the Obstruct on the Obstagoon. So yeah, here we're going to have the lead of Shadow Snorlax. You might have already seen my video about the rank 1 team around Shadow Snorlax, so maybe it's similar, we will find out shortly. Very good lead for us though, because we can go for a debuff here with a Pidgeot. We can take some moves now, as well as the Brave Bird would be enough to knock them out, and we will be able to let the move go through here, overfarm by a little bit, go for the Brave Bird. Let's see if they're going to shield or not. We will see no shield by the opponent. We can realign. In comes a Mug. I have to stay in here, but I can go ahead and go for a charge move here. Brave Bird coming through, going to do a ton of damage, which is really nice for us, as we will be able to go into our Obstagoon now. This seems to be a weird play, but actually works out super well because I have the Toxic Rogue in the back. Nope, I did not predict this one at all, but for the Mug, the charge moves of the Mug are Thunder Punch and Dark Pulse. And Thunder Punch would be super effective against our Blastoise here, so I kind of wanted to preserve my Blastoise in the back. And rightfully, because my Blastoise is definitely going to help out quite a bit against the opponent's Toxic Rogue here right now, as we will be able to go for another Hydro Cannon here. This will get the final shield of the opponent. We already got them fairly low here, and I'm going to use my final shield as well, hoping that I can still reach a Hydro Cannon in time. And I will be able to do this, which is really nice. So we're going to be able to outspeed the opponent here, go for the Hydro Cannon, knock them out, and we only have the Mug in the back where they're going to forfeit anyway, because they cannot really have any charge move pressure against our Obstagoon. Next opponent, this Pokemon is a little bit tricky to deal with. Tapu Fini. We're gonna go straight for the Brave Bird here, which is going to allow us to do a ton of damage against them. But we can now swap out into our Blastoise, which can take a lot of damage. I'm actually still going to shoot at the Moonblast. Honestly, most likely shouldn't have done that, but it does not really matter, and actually it works out fairly well for me, I would say, because against the Drapion, they definitely don't want to get hit by any of our charge moves here, and we can survive 2 crunches, which is really nice. So we're gonna get a ton of damage or 2 shields from the opponent here, and we're gonna get the first shield already. You can go for another Hydro Cannon here right now, which is going to get the next shield from the opponent, and we can still survive a move here, but I kind of want to keep my Pokemon around for maybe some Sex Up maybe. Oh no, I'm actually going to stay in here, as I will be able to just go ahead and swap out into my Obstagoon. Again, I don't get the counter in. Thanks game for not working how it's supposed to work. You should have got the counter through here, but the game does still not work perfectly fine. After how many years of Go Battle League, it is wild. Thank God we're going to have soon the World Championships for this game, where you cannot even have any consistent gameplay. But yeah, we're going to have a Skuntank in the back here, and this is going to be an interesting one, because the opponent is going to swap onto the Tapu Fini, and I have to hope that the Feather Dance is going to do enough damage to knock them out here, because I can't go for a Brave Bird, and now I have to hope that the Brave Bird is going to do enough damage here against the opponent's Skuntank. And it does, and our Pidgeot will be able to sweep endgame here. Good game to the opponent. Next opponent, we're going to have a Swampert in the lead. Fairly decent lead for us, as we're going to be able to just go straight for the Brave Bird here, I would say, as our backline is not really weak against this Pokemon. Basically, all our Pokemon are kind of neutral. Blastoise maybe even a little bit good against the opponent's Swampert here. But I will be able to go for a Brave Bird, gonna do a ton of damage, and I can try to catch a move, and I will be able to catch a move here on to my Blastoise. Hydro Cannon come through, does basically 0 damage, and we're gonna get out another Drapion. But because of the Hydro Cannon, we're gonna now not survive 2 crunch, I think, as the crunch is going to definitely put us into range where we're gonna go down afterwards. So this is not really ideal for us, but we're still gonna get a shield or some damage against the opponent. And I actually take the damage a little bit more, I feel like, compared to the shield, because I will be able to still have my Obstagoon here right now, which can farm them all the way down. They can still get to a move here, which is most likely the crunch. and they're going to get no debuff, and they're going to have a Charizard in back. And here we can go for Obstruct. And this is going to allow us now to survive a charge move from the opponent, as well as we're going to be able to force some shields later on. I'm going to use a shield here just in case they're going to go for the Blast Spin immediately, which they don't. But I can now overfarm by quite a bit, basically baiting that I go for the Night Slash here, trying to do some damage against them. But no, I'm going to go for the Obstruct, going to get another defense boost, as well as we're going to be able to now see P-tie onto the opponent. I survive a Blast Burn from this range thanks to the Obstruct boost. I can go for the Night Slash here, try to get the final shield by the opponent, and I can swap out now into my Pidgeot, go for the Brave Bird immediately here, as the opponent didn't expect this so fast. Going to knock them out, and the opponent's Swampert has literally nowhere to go, and we will be able to now win this game. Next opponent. Fairly bad lead for my backline, but decent for, like, not decent, but okayish for my lead. I really wish that I had a better Pidgeot. I feel like for Pidgeot, IVs really matter, and my IVs are pretty horrific. So maybe I'm going to build one eventually when I have more Stardust. Right now, while I'm commentating this video, which is not when you're going to see it. Great play by the opponent by going for the Blizzard here. I'm currently only having 70,000 Stardust, so I don't think that's really going to help me, but through Go Fest, I'm hopefully gonna get some more Stardust again. But yeah, here we're going to encounter the Poliwrath against us. This will be okay for us, as we can go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon, but it's not actually that okay for us, because we have nothing irritated anymore. This team really struggles against Poliwrath as soon as the lead is gone here. So, especially as they run Dynamic Punch, which is a moveset that I barely see at all, this is going to be a tough one to do, and I'm just going to forfeit here, because the Dynamic Punch was too much for me. The Dynamic Punch was literally hitting us so hard. Usually they run Scald and Ice Beam, Ice Punch, so like we would have been able to resist all the moves from their charge moves, at least on our blasters, which would be nice, but yeah. Not here, but we can at least resist the Ice Punch from the opponent here, from the Sand Slash, which is going to be nice for us. They're going to swap into a Clefable, and my main objective here right now is try to realign. Because, of course, our lead doesn't want to encounter the Sand Slash. We have some energy on our lead, though, and our lead can debuff opponents. So as soon as we're going to be able to realign, we're going to have the Obstagoon against the opponent's Sand Slash, where the counter is going to be double super effective, and the fast move of the opponent is triple resisted. And then we're going to have a great time. So, we're going to go ahead, shield up the Moonblast, and hopefully going to knock them out with this incoming Hydro Cannon, and we will be able to do this. So now, they can go back into their Sand Slash. I can most likely even reach another charge move here, and maybe even knock them out before. Let's see. We're going to be able to get there in time. No, they're going to go ahead and go for their own charge move, but they're kinda out of energy right now, allowing us to go into our Obstagoon. In comes the Charizard, in comes the Feather Dance, of course, as this is going to allow us to debuff the opponent's attack before they can go for a Blast Burn. And I can just go ahead and go for the spam for this move. Because the opponent is kind of forced to shield up the next charge move here, I will be able to just go ahead and go for another one. The Dragon Claw should not be really knocking us out anymore. They're actually going to let this move go through as well. I don't think the Dragon Claw is enough from this range, because we are fairly bulky, and of course we have a 4x debuff onto the opponent. You're even going to be able to reach another move here against the opponent, and the Pidgeot is just destroying them left, right, and center, as our Obstagoon is coming in here and going to knock them out. Next opponent, we're going to have a Deoxys in the lead. I just don't like to play against Deoxys with this team. You have, of course, Dark-type move coverage on the back, but they're going to be double weak to counter. Deoxys runs either Rock Slide, usually Rock Slide, or the Thunderbolt, and even like, I guess the best matchup for you would be if you have the Deoxys against the Blastoise, but getting this against the Blastoise is kinda awkward. So yeah, usually it's in the lead, so it's a little bit of a tough lead to deal with. I expect them to have the Obstagoon in the back, so I go into my own Obstagoon as I don't run a Cross Chop. And we will see the Sludge Bomb coming through by the opponent. I can go for another Obstruct at least to get some more defense buff here for myself. Get the opponent's defense low. Going to just increase our damage output here as the opponent going to catch a move onto their Deoxys. I will be able to go ahead and go for the Night Slash, doing some decent damage. I really wish for a boost. I don't think I got any boost which was like significant and like helped us out while I played this team, so you can even have more luck and play better with the Obstagoon here if you get the boost and the right timing. But I'm going to actually go ahead and actually going to shield this move up here, because it's going to allow us to now go for another charge move here against the opponent, but they're most likely going to go ahead and just go straight for the charge move with their Pokemon. But no, they're actually going to have the Sand Slash in the back. And this is super sad for us, because I really was expecting the Obstagoon in the back. And yes, we're going to get the 4x debuff against the opponent, which is very nice, but they of course they can just swap out immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my Blastoise, hoping that the opponent doesn't get debuffs here. And I'm just going to be able to just go for the full farm down. Let's see. If I now can swap out into my Obstagoon and farm them all the way down, I should be fine here. And they survive with 1 HP. And this is literally what killed me the game. This 1 HP from the opponent, because if they didn't survive that, I would have been able to go into my Obstagoon still, of course. I would go for Obstruct, trying to get the defense drop onto the opponent, get the buff of my own attack, do more damage with my fast move, force the opponent then to knock me out with a charge move, have my Blastoise still in the back, and I think I would have been able to farm down in time. But this was 1 HP that mattered there, which is showing also that IVs do matter. Definitely do matter in a lot of cases, but yeah. Next opponent, we're going to have a Muck in the lead. We're going to be able to survive a Dark Pulse for sure after we go for the Feather Dance, and I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here against the opponent too. Just gonna go for the knockout here, and we will now see what they're gonna bring in. They're gonna bring in the Tapu Fini. This is a difficult Pokemon to deal with, but we're gonna get out now the opponent's Giratina here, where we can go ahead and go for the big Ice Beam here. Going to do no damage because they're going to shield this move up. A clever idea from the opponent there, but this entire team is kind of decent against Giratina, so we're kind of fine here. It's still going to be an awkward one to still win this. My goal here right now is that I'm going to try to go ahead and get rid of the Giratina here, go into my Pidgeot, try to debuff the opponent's Fairy type there, Tapu Fini, and then just go for the Obstruct the entire time to buff my defenses, try to lower the opponent's defensive, and then try to farm them down with that. But they're going to swap out here into the Tapu Fini, which is really bad. What is even worse is I was just a little bit too slow to get to my move before they can go to theirs, which is really important that I would have got this move off before, because then I still had 2 shields for my Obstagoon, which really would help out quite a bit. But like this, the opponent gonna get even more farm here. I can go for the Obstruct, but I have to shield first, of course. They're going to be double debuffed still, which is going to be nice. But yeah, at this point of time, it's going to be a tough one to still come back from this one. Like, there's not a lot that I can do. Or is there? There actually would have been something that I could have done in order to win this game. And you're going to see it later. I will be able to go for the Night Slash here. I'm going to get the shield from the opponent as they're going to swap out here. What I could have done here, we are very far into the game. I should have just completely overformed to 100 energy with my Obstagoon, let all the moves go through, and just try to wait out the clock and knock out the Giratina before the opponent's, basically before the opponent can come back in with their Tapu Fini. Because the clock was running out after this charge move here, and I could have just stayed in the Giratina matchup as long as I wanted to. You're going to see my boost here, which I needed a little bit earlier. They're going to be able to knock me out, but you're going to see the time running down on top there. I needed one more charge move in order to, knock them out basically with the time. I could have definitely won this if I played a little bit smarter, which I didn't do. This was my own fault, definitely my own fault. Just sometimes timeout wins is also an option for the Ultra League, which you can take if you know how to play it. I definitely could have taken that. I could have just went for Obstruct the entire time against the Giratina, and I would have been able to get the timeout win against the opponent, but it is how it is. We didn't, and that's kind of sad, but that is totally okay. Next opponent here, we're going to have a Greedent against us in the lead, which is a fairly neutral matchup. They have, of course, Bullet Seed, which is going to generate energy faster than we do, but also is going to do no damage as they are double debuffed, and I can snipe them with my Blastoise from the charge move that they had. But in comes now the Golisopod. I should go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon spam here against the opponent, but they're gonna go ahead and go for the exercise first. Not gonna do too much damage. Of course, our moves are all resisted, the opponent's moves are all neutral, so this is definitely a bad matchup for us, but actually Blastoise doesn't really care too much about it. Blastoise has some insane bulk, and Blastoise is still going to hit hard with the resisted Hydro Cannon, because Hydro Cannon is just a busted move. So we're going to see the exercise coming through here. We can go for the Hydro Cannon, and this Hydro Cannon is going to do a ton of damage against the opponent as they're going to swap out into the Gliscor. I will be able to debuff them and maybe force a shield here, as this could be also a Brave Bird, but no, they're going to let this move go through, but at least they're going to be forced to throw their own charge move against me, which will allow me now to go back into my Obstagoon. I will be able to just go for Obstruct against them most likely. And I'm going to use a shield against their potential Earthquake here right now, even though it might be a Night Slash, and it is a Night Slash, so great play by the opponent. I can just buff my defenses again. Like, Obstruct Obstagoon is such a fun Pokemon to use, especially if you're going to get the boost here as well as the shield from the opponent. I can farm on the opponent's Golisopod. I can let this move go through. I know it's super effective, but I can just go ahead and go for the full farm down. Go for 2 Night Slashes here. 1 Night Slash is already enough to knock them out from this range, kinda, or like a little bit more water gun damage from the Blastoise there, but we're going to see right now. The only boost that I got that did maybe something was this one, but it honestly didn't matter. Like, we would have won no matter what. And this is going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this rank 1 in the world team. If you did, please leave a like on the video, and also check out the other videos that are currently on the screen, and I see you then. Bye bye.